Coach, what can you draw from last weekend and how you guys competed, especially on the mound? I thought you guys showed some really good things there.
Yeah, there was a lot of wins just going to North Carolina. Obviously, guys handled the travel really good. As far as the doubleheader on opening day, you can draw the experience of playing a doubleheader. At a good school with good pitching, good lineup, what you got to do to win the game. Obviously, we didn't do that. Thought our guys, as far as on the mound, like you mentioned, did a pretty good job of just maintaining, focus and going pitch to pitch for the most part through the weekend. Pretty loaded question. I mean, when you start talking about the weekend, there's a whole list of things. Obviously, the pitch clock deal, something that you better learn from fast. Can you imagine this? A point guard dribbling the ball down the court, and if his eyes aren't up, you can't steal the ball from him. In other words, you can't play defense. That's kind of what we had going on the pitch clock deal. That probably was something that snuck up on us a little bit, or certain pitchers didn't handle it very good. And that is part of managing a game when you're pitching. I mean, nowadays the clock is part of managing a game, just like a running game or anything like that. And but I thought, tip your hat to North Carolina. They kind of had a plan to win some pitches on that. Didn't like it, but they had one. Don't agree with it. What else? I mean, it's a pretty big question. So I'll stop there. We'll go to the next one.
Coach, did the result of last week have any impact on putting together a starting lineup for this week?
Probably not so much last weekend. We inter-squatted Monday. You're always evaluating pitching, defense, base running, offense. 3 games in, you're always evaluating the best way to move forward. And so we'll adjust accordingly. I mean, everybody that was in that lineup is going to have a chance to contribute, obviously, through the year.
Specifically on Perko, did he earn maybe a start this weekend with what he did out of the pen on him? He
did. I mean, he earned that probably in the fall. We got back, he got a little sick, had a little flu bug, and probably had a week where it set him back, and looks like he's back to full strength, and he's going to pitch on Saturday in game 2.
What did you see from your pitching staff? Did Lucas or any other pitcher make any pushes to get more time?
Well, probably the biggest thing is what we identified going into the weekend is that there's not enough innings for bodies. And you always feel really bad when a weekend's over. And there's guys down there that you know are going to be big contributors and they don't get on the mound. Parker Utera didn't throw in that series. Beavis didn't throw in that series. Espinoza didn't throw in that series. Those are guys I know that we're going to count on. And if you could get Logan Addison going and Blake Bass, those guys are definitely got power arms and got really good stuff. And there's a number of them. Fetchel. As far as the guys that threw in the series, again, baseball's a funny game. I mean, it's you got to come ready each time. But most of the guys that threw, they did about what we expected, other than maybe Jackson Burns. I mean, and actually North Carolina did the exact same thing to a freshman Tuesday night with the pitch clock deal and with the tough at-bats and with a veteran lineup. And it just caused they were probably controlling the momentum of that bat by standing in there and not looking at the pitcher. And again, like that's something that will get addressed, I know, in college baseball through the year. And they'll have to make a change. And I'm going to make it clear it's got nothing to do with the results of the game, nothing. But it's something that, since y'all are asking, we did take away offensively and defensively from it, like, hey, this is something that you can utilize right now. And so, really interesting to me. But, all those guys that threw, most of them threw when you were trailing. And so what you'd really like to do is flip it and have the lead and see them go pitch.
So your rotation this weekend is going to be?
I figured you were going to ask that. We're going to go Ewer, Perko, and then Siebert.
And how would you kind of break down UC Irvine, considering they were won 45 games last year and made a regional final, Corvallis?
Yeah, had a chance to watch their game last night that they played Tuesday night against USC, seen a bunch of it. You know, it looks like to me fundamentally sound, tough kids, play good defense, put good at-bats together, pitch, I mean really pitch. You know, there's a few power arms in there, but it's more about pitching and playing defense. Really unique thing is I don't know if they lead the country in hit by pitches, but very unique that they do not get out of the way. Kind of like our fans have seen Gutierrez or McGee do. They just teach them to stay in there. And that's something that, you know, for speed guys, that is a tool. I'm not saying there are guys or speed guys that do it, but they use it as a tool to get on first base. And again, so they played their 3 games last weekend. I guess they had a close one with Vandy and beat New Mexico and maybe Illinois, and then played USC Tuesday night. Looks like to me their guys do a really good job with their team.
As far as the rotation, can you kind of go into thinking why you went with Mac and maybe also what you thought of Jack's start in the opener?
Yeah.
Some errors kind of skewed
Yeah.
what he did.
So again, like Jack's start, first of all, probably would like to know what would happen if you go out and routine the ball. We'll never know that. But he is a guy, when he does pitch, you're going to have to do that. And so that's probably the story on that one. As far as why Mac kind of just, to our staff, kind of fits what you're looking for on Friday. Guy can go out and pitch off the fastball, establish the fastball, go at least, 2 or 3 times through the order, and then go to secondary pitch, second time through the order. You're going to have to respect the fastball to hit him. And so I would say, come on in, Trendon. That's kind of our thinking right now, and obviously we didn't want to change up. With both those guys going last Friday, it gave us the option of which one to pitch this Friday. And so the Perko pitched good, and so you go him on Saturday and you split them up. And I like the ability to go out and establish the fastball. To me, that's to me where your starters. That's where it all starts.
The colder weather's coming in Lubbock, especially tomorrow. Is there any impact on it for what you got prepared this week?
Man, the sun's shining right now. Anybody that's a duck hunter would know by this time of the day you're hot if the sun comes out. So, it's there's an old saying, there's no weather in baseball if you have a game that day. And so we're probably going to stay with that.
You mentioned that it's using the thing that North Carolina did, the pitch clock thing. It's illegal now. As much as you don't like it, is that something you guys need to utilize until you can't?
So we briefly talked about it. I don't know how many hitters we have that are going to be comfortable putting 2 feet in the box and not picking the pitcher up. Maybe they've played with guys that are old school and they know what would happen. The guy they had that did it the most was a grad transfer, and he's about 6'4", big kid. And he was very comfortable, you could tell, not looking at the pitcher. Is it something we want to do? No. You want to win baseball games, you want to respect the game, play the game the right way. But right now, make no bones about it, college coaches across the country this week are talking about it in a way to win a pitch. For instance, bases loaded, and you got a decision to make. You don't let the guy swing, or you're going to take, because a walk's a run, right? Well, there's teams literally across the country doing this before the take sign. and it's 1-0 before you decide what you're going to do in that bat. And so they built this rule based on last year pitchers were, and I know there's a lot of people listening to this. If you play it, they're like, man, what are they talking about? They want to understand. And they're going on. And like I said, it had nothing to do with the game. But last year there was pitchers that were slow playing the hitter. In other words, the hitter had to be in the box at 10. They switched it to 8. When they switched it to 8, it goes more back to the momentum of the hitter, because the hitter can, if the hitter doesn't have to pick up the pitcher now and they come set, it's a ball before 8. And what happens with the young guys, what happens with the young pitchers is a hitter doesn't address him until 8 seconds, and you got running game to deal with, and you got your own routine to deal with. Now the clock's down to 2 or 1 every pitch. And so it's really interesting to me that we're messing with a game that's been around a long time. It's been played, it's been pure. And somehow we let, Major League Baseball, wood bats and a pitch clock, they're going to play a game in 2.5 hours. Because if somebody did what we're talking about, man, it ain't going to be any fun. Y'all know that. And so that's where we're trying to get with the college game with, as far as pace. We're really creating more time. And so we've addressed it. I don't mind sharing this with you, and you won't say this. I mean, K-State played up there Tuesday night, and I think that game's under protest over the same thing. Young pitcher goes to the mound, and in the first inning, I think 3 balls are called without throwing a pitch. Got nothing to do with Tech baseball. I mean, people listening to it, we're talking. And so you can play it if you want. It's got nothing to do with us winning or losing a game. But, if we have a hitter go up there and he's looking straight down you, I'll be like, man, this kid learned something last week. But it's not the way the game's meant to be played. Like I use the basketball analogy just because, in no other sport, if a team, is on offense, can you not play defense? And it doesn't make any sense. So, interesting though. It was interesting when it was happening. So, I didn't mean to make this whole thing about it.
It's interesting.
Hopefully you'll delete most of that.
Could you assess the offense in that series against North Carolina?
Yeah, John, I really think really good feedback going in against a really good pitching staff. To me, it really let us see individually guys that could go in and compete pitch to pitch, make good swing decisions against elite stuff. They didn't run a guy out there that didn't have one elite pitch, whether it was a fastball or a combination of 2 or a slider. And so compared to maybe playing somebody that didn't have that type of pitching, there's no false sense of what you are. Like if you're an on-base guy, and again, like you would be able to see that against that type of pitching. So to me, I think our team walked away from there going, okay, like this is what we're going to need to do to be able to get on base against these guys, be able to hit them. And I really thought we were in a good spot, like going up there. I think opening day is always, you can throw it out the window a little bit as far as how guys handle the pitch to pitch, if that makes sense. Kind of thought the doubleheader, I even said it, would help us. Because I've seen so many doubleheaders over the years where guys just get out of their own way in the second game and they just go, man, I'm going to just get a pitch to hit and hit it. But I use an analogy with my dad. I was like, it's probably we were talking last night about, it's probably like, you're going to play Torrey Pines or you're going to play, Meadowbrook over here. Torrey Pines is going to give you really good feedback on where your game is. I think we got really good feedback on where we are in a park that's not going to play offensive. And so there was all kinds of positive come away from it as far as that goes. And yeah, there's balls hit. There's balls hit if you're home, they're out. That's always going to happen, right? And so I enjoyed watching our guys compete against their guys, and you're always striving to go pitch to pitch a little better, 1 through 9, right? And so, I thought we ran the bases decent. We tried to get some bunts down, got some down. And so there was some positives that came away from it. Probably more than anything what the feedback the competition gave me.
Well, how did you assess y'all's defense?
Man, I think it's gotten better from last Friday till now. I mean, like I said, we played Monday. It was pretty clean Monday. Pretty good defense for the most part. I mean, there were guys Monday that kind of had been here that played like it was an inter squad, which is disappointing. But for the most part, like what you're going to put out there, I thought it's going to, we got a chance to keep getting better. Game 1, it wasn't good. I think anytime, balls are hitting your glove and you're not catching them, that's not good, right? And so definitely guys know you got to play at a higher standard there. But I think, again, I think there's value in going on the road, playing on a grass field, playing a good team, and getting that feedback.